In 1994, Rwanda endured one of the most severe humanitarian disasters of the 20th century. A systematic genocide claimed between 500,000 and 1 million lives within a 100-day window. The catastrophe resulted in a 50% economic collapse and the total disintegration of national infrastructure. By any objective metric, Rwanda in 1994 was no longer a functioning state. 30 years later, the nation is frequently analyzed as the Singapore of Africa. The capital, Kigali, has transformed into a modern, clean hub, centered on services rather than raw commodities. Rwanda's GDP has maintained an average growth rate of nearly 7% over the last decade. Extreme poverty has seen a sharp decline, falling from 11.3% in 2017 to 5.4% today. Life expectancy, which sat at just 46 years in 2000, has climbed to 67 in a single generation. For a landlocked nation with no oil or natural geographic advantages, this progress is statistically remarkable. However, a massive wealth gap remains. Singapore's GDP per capita is $90,600, while Rwanda's is approximately $1,110. To understand this trajectory, we must look at the calculated choices made by the Rwanda Patriotic Front, RPF. After taking control in July 1994, the RPF prioritized national stability over immediate retribution. The government abolished ethnic categories, implementing a unified national identity to prevent future conflict. This stability provided the essential foundation for the economic reconstruction that followed. Yet, analysts note a significant trade-off between this stability and political freedom. The administration consistently wins elections with 99% of the vote, suggesting a highly controlled political environment. In the early years, reconstruction was heavily supported by foreign aid, peaking at over $700 million annually. By 2000, the government launched Vision 2020 to pivot from an agricultural to a knowledge-based economy. Rwanda successfully built the Rwanda Revenue Authority to reduce its reliance on external donors. By 2017, the country was financing over 60% of its national budget through domestic tax revenue. A core pillar of this growth was a radical improvement in the institutional business environment. Rwanda's ease of doing business ranking jumped from 140th in 2008 to 38th globally by 2019. Entrepreneurs can now register a new business online in less than 6 hours. Property registration, which once took nearly a year, has been streamlined to just 7 days. Despite these reforms, Rwanda's landlocked geography remains a permanent economic constraint. Moving a shipping container from Mombasa to Kigali is 3 times more expensive than shipping it from Shanghai to Mombasa. Logistical corridors through Tanzania and Kenya are frequently disrupted by regional unrest and corruption. Truck drivers often lose days at border crossings and face significant costs from extra official fines. While Rwanda can optimize its internal bureaucracy, it cannot move itself closer to the ocean. Human capital also presents a long-term bottleneck for a service-oriented economy. Only 9% of the population aged 16 to 30 has attended tertiary education. Outside the capital, computer literacy remains below 9% in several key provinces. High-end institutions like Carnegie Mellon's Kigali campus are impressive, but currently produce only hundreds of graduates. Furthermore, the export structure reveals a hidden vulnerability in the economic boom. A major share of export revenue comes from minerals like tin, tungsten, and gold. Gold exports alone generated $1.5 billion in 2024, despite Rwanda having limited gold deposits. This has led to international scrutiny regarding mineral origins from neighboring conflict zones in the DRC. The Kagame factor is another critical variable. The nation's success is deeply tied to his personal leadership. There is currently no established institutional mechanism for a smooth transition of power. Unlike Singapore, which transitioned leadership multiple times, Rwanda's institutions are still centered on one man's vision. Rwanda is now doubling down on massive, debt-funded infrastructure projects like the Bugesera International Airport. Public debt rose to 73.6% of GDP in 2025 and is projected to reach 86% by 2027. This strategy is a high-stakes bet on building a regional hub will eventually attract sufficient trade volumes. The African Continental Free Trade Area is the key variable that could make this geographic gamble pay off. If regional trade scales, Rwanda's position as a stable, corruption-free hub becomes incredibly valuable. If it fails, Rwanda risks being a well-governed but small economy burdened by heavy debt. Ultimately, Rwanda has built an impressive foundation from the ruins of a total collapse. Whether it can truly become the Singapore of Africa remains a question for the next decade. Regardless of the outcome, Rwanda's recovery stands as one of the most optimistic case studies for institutional reform.